Hey Gators and sports fans, get all your Gator talk, news, analysis, and opinions on the Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning podcast. Find us on your favorite podcast platform or watch us on Facebook Live between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. every weekday. Pod Up, because we are Gator fans. So say it's great to be a Florida Gator.
Good morning and welcome to a Wednesday edition of Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Got a good show lined up for you today. A couple announcements. We'll have JC here momentarily. He's traveling. Will be joining us by phone. Then we're also going to have Dan Cross, former Hall of Famer here at the University of Florida, talk a little Gator basketball. Also, he has a big basketball tournament this weekend that he's putting on. And then we're going to, unfortunately, Coach Stoops could not work it out with us. We text, but he couldn't find time, and I totally understand that. So I got Edgar Thompson break down the Cotton Bowl tonight. So sit back and relax, enjoy the hour program. And I think JC is on.
I'm on.
There's JC.
Good
morning, JC. We got you on the Titan MR hotline. How you doing, my man?
Yeah, great. I'm excited, buddy. We got New Year's Eve coming up. We got Cotton Bowl. We got playoffs. We got a big weekend, a long weekend, a short work week. I mean, what's there not to be excited about, right, QB?
That's very, very true. Well, JC, we're gonna we won't keep you long today. I know you're busy traveling. Let's first talk briefly about the games yesterday. There were two bowl games yesterday. Texas clobbered Colorado. I think that was pretty much expected. And then it was a pretty entertaining game, the first game in Orlando, the Cheez-It Bowl. Oklahoma State holds on, beats Miami. De'Aaron King, their quarterback, who announced that he was coming back for another year, looks like he tore his knee up. Hate to see that. You'll probably see more kids opting out now because of that. I still disagree with it. But just give me your thoughts. I'm sure you watched both of those games.
Well, yeah, QB. I watched both of them. I felt bad for that Miami quarterback. The Canes were trailing big early, but I thought they showed a lot of heart by staying with it and sticking in there. And when they lost their leading player and their leader on the team, they didn't quit. The backup came in. I thought he did a pretty good job, to be honest with you. He hit some good routes, and the guys were open. And, they played hard. But the thing is that in a way, QB, and by the way, Texas, yeah, you're 100%. Colorado had nothing for them. And Texas really, I think, showed us some young players that could lead to a very interesting future for that program under Tom Herman. I thought the quarterback for Texas was pretty good. And once Erlinger went out, Texas looked a lot better. But Colorado, yeah, they just don't have the material to stay with Texas, I wouldn't think, in a game like this. And certainly it showed on the field. But, QB, in a way, here we are. We've had we're very fortunate. We're very fortunate to have had a season this year. And in a way, I'm really, I feel great about that. And a lot of guys went through a lot. But I got to tell you, in a way, there's somewhat a sense of I'm kind of relieved because it just hasn't felt like, the football season that we're used to seeing because, they hadn't had any fans. There's been no pregame. The players have had to go through so much just to prepare themselves to play a game. And there's a sense of relief that I have that we've gotten to the finish line here for many teams and for most teams, of course. The opting out of players, the COVID protocols, all of this stuff that's been a part of the football season. I'm sort of relieved that we've gotten through it. I'm very grateful we had it, but in a way, I'm kind of glad that we're getting to the end of it because it's just not a normal type of thing. And I would rather have had it than not, but it's been difficult for everybody. And that includes the fans because the fans foment a lot of the energy that comes into football, and the fans are the people who are paying for this. So in a way, hopefully we can get back to normal in 2021, but who knows? That's a long way off, but I hope it happens, and I'm kind of relieved that we're at the end.
Well, if you think you're relieved, JC, do you have any idea what these coaches and players have gone through this year? It's been a nightmare, a total nightmare.
No, and I mentioned that, but the alternative would have been not to play, and that would have been worse because Kyle Pitts and Kadarius Toney and Trayvon Grimes and people like this might not have the opportunities that they now have coming in a few months had they not been able to go through all this. And the coaches, look, they got to do what they do for a living. They got to coach. Maybe they had a few more responsibilities, but if you gave them a choice of not doing it or doing it the way they did it, I know what the answer would have been, and they still got paid. And so the bottom line is we had the season. It was difficult. It was better than not having the season, but in a way, I'm glad it's coming to an end, to tell you the truth.
We got a Facebook Live here brought to you by Meldon Law, the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. Dan says, JC, go get a Thunderbird pie while you're in Dallas. Great pizza, Fort Worth area and Plano area. You ever been there, JC?
Oh, yeah. Is this my man Dan Bond, who's from Dallas, that listens to our show?
Yes.
Well, good for you, Dan. Hey, it's great to hear from Dan Bond, who's on the Facebook Live there. And yes, thank you for that information. I go up to McKinney, so he knows where that is. And Plano's a great area. Allen's a great area. Frisco's a great area where the Cowboys work out. Arlington is going to be on really exciting place to be here in the next few days. We're going to have some weather coming in. There's going to be some maybe snow even. Lots of rain for sure. But then on New Year's Day, it's going to be Texas Live with Notre Dame, Alabama, and the weather's going to be beautiful. And, yes, thank you for that tip. It's too bad for the fans who traveled to Texas for this Cotton Bowl tonight. They're going to get a lot of rain in the area and tomorrow. But, they'll have a game indoors because there's a nice route. That's right. It helps.
The game's indoors.
But getting in there is going to get you wet, too, because there's a long walk from the parking lot to the gate. And so – but there's not going to be more than, I don't know how many fans, 10, 16,000 maybe. But, it's thank you for that. I agree. It's a great area. Love it there.
Okay, JC, let's talk about the games today. There's two games today. We got the Mayo Bowl in Charlotte. Your Demon Deacs of Wake Forest are playing Wisconsin. Since we don't really have a Peachland Dentistry picks like on Fridays anymore, you and I are going to pick these two games today, and then we'll have a special New Year's Day show where we'll have our picks as well. So I'm going to let you. Who do you like between Wisconsin and Wake Forest? Wisconsin is favored by 9.5 points.
I would take those points all day and twice on Sunday. Wisconsin is anemic on offense. I don't know how this line has gotten to where it is. Maybe there's a lot of opt-outs I'm unaware of. Wake Forest, to me, is one of those scary little teams that could score points. I think Dave Clawson does a great job at Wake Forest. I am not impressed with Wisconsin. This is a different type of team that they've had in the past. They're not very proficient on offense. Give me Wake Forest. Give me those 9.5. And I think it'll be a close game, but I really can't say who would win. I wouldn't be surprised if either team won, but I think
I like Wake Forest. I think they're going to win the game. Okay, what do you like? OU is favored now by 4.5, whereas 2 days ago Florida was favored by 3. What do you like in the game tonight?
Well, when we did the show on Monday, we didn't have the awareness of Katoni. At least I didn't know it, and it came out that afternoon. I would have felt better if some of these guys would have stayed to play for Florida's offense. And I certainly think that Oklahoma, having won 7 straight games, fewer opt-outs. What concerns me about Florida is, the rhythm of the offense. Trask is going to do what he can, but with all these different players in there, I'm concerned about how the offense is going to maneuver and matriculate up and down the field the way they did against Alabama without these players. I worry about some of these replacements, these guys coming into play will be certainly capable, but it ain't Pitts, it ain't Toney, it ain't Grimes. What is it, Copeland or Shorter, one of those? I think it's going to be tough for Florida rhythm-wise. I think their timing could be off a little bit, and I think Oklahoma's probably going to win this game. I certainly will root for Florida, but I would pick Oklahoma in this game. They were getting 3 points before all this happened. I like that, and I don't mind them laying 4 either, to tell you the truth. This will be an opportunity for some of the younger players to come up and really make a statement. A lot of times in these bowl games, QB, you know as well as I do, that it's better sometimes to have younger players who are somewhat unproven to play in these games than older players who are thinking about something else. So I think Florida will have an opportunity here to showcase some of these new players on offense, certainly, and maybe they'll run the ball, and I think they'll play hard. But I think Oklahoma right now is playing its best football of the season, and so I think it's a tough game for Florida.
Yeah, I think it's going to be tough tonight as well. It's 34 of Kyle's 42 touchdown passes ain't playing in this game. Think about all the great catches, yards after the catch that we had. We'll still make some plays, but I think it's going to be very, very difficult tonight. JC, that's our Peachland Dentistry Wednesday picks. Gator Nation's #1 choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte and surrounding areas. Visit them at peachlanddental.com. So I wanted to give you a trivia question. Are you ready to listen to this trivia question?
Absolutely. Go ahead.
All right, here we go. Since 2015, 8 different quarterbacks have thrown 40 or more touchdowns in a season and then have gone on to be selected in the first round of a later NFL draft. Can you name them? 8 different
Not all
quarterbacks.
Of them, no. Well,
can you name any of them?
Okay. I'm going to go with, let's see, how many? 40 or more, you said? All right.
40 or more touchdowns in a single season, and then those kids became, later in their career when they were draft eligible, became first-round picks.
Let me try Matt Ryan as one of them.
Okay, you're way off.
Okay, well, QB, you know what I think about trivia questions at 8:11 in the morning when I'm traveling? You know what I think about that?
But okay, it's very simple. One of them played last year and won the national title.
Well, okay, the obvious ones, but
one of them played for your team.
Yeah, but okay.
Think about the Oklahoma quarterbacks, JC. You're horrible. I'm going to give them to you. Jared Goff, Pat Mahomes, Deshaun Watson, Baker Mayfield, Dwayne Haskins, Tua, Kyler Murray, and Joe Burrow. And you're talking about Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan didn't throw 40 touchdowns in 3 years at BC. We won't ever ask you trivia questions again, JC.
Oh, well, QB, give me. Okay, well, no, you're right. I should have had at least 4 of those. Gosh.
Yeah, I mean, those were very simple. Okay, JC, real quick before we let you go, I know you're busy. Are you driving to Dallas or are you flying?
No, we got to fly. I'm nervous about the flight with all the weather that's coming into the area. Oh, my God. But I'm not flying until tomorrow. But, I'm going to be on a 777 extra range, wide body American Airlines, but there's a lot of weather in Texas, man. And it might even snow. I don't know if it snows or not. I don't care. But it's going to be absolutely fabulous on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So that's what I'm hanging on to, QB. You know how I am with flying. I'm a nervous flyer, QB.
No, I know you are. Okay, before we let you go here, I just want to get your thoughts from a college football fan, what they think is, because there's so much talk now about kids opting out. Give me JC's opinion on opting out. Let's put JC as a player, which you weren't, and let's put you as a parent of a player, which you weren't. So what would you? I want to hear your thoughts on opting out, and then I'm gonna give you mine.
All right. Well, obviously. Yeah, I have no problem with what Pitts is doing, with what Tony's. Look, the thing is these guys have to protect whatever they have, and what they've gotten on the resume was well received, I think, this year for most of the players who've decided to do this. I think other players who are on a marginal, who are marginally thought of as high draft picks might want to play in a bowl game like Jadeveon Clowney did to improve his stock. When Jadeveon Clowney blew up that Michigan running back down in Orlando, it made him a lot of money because that was on the opening theme to many ESPN sports centers, and everybody on Earth money
saw before that play. That play
I get
was
it, but
highlight.
That was but QB, the point is he didn't have to play that game, and by playing that game, he did even better. That's what I'm saying. And I think you could do that with a lot of these guys, whether they're a good high draft pick like Clowney or somebody else who, catches 3, 4, 5 touchdown passes or runs for 250 yards in a bowl game. That's going to help. But it also could hurt if you're Robert Quinn and you play like crap in the Independence Bowl against North Carolina, that could hurt your, with Missouri and North Carolina that year in '05, that could hurt your draft status when you get run over by Missouri and you're not even showing effort. What's the point? So if you're not there mentally, you shouldn't play because you could get hurt by not giving 110%. So to me, opting out is about protecting your value. If you think it's worth doing that, then do it. These bowl games do not provide anything to your livelihood going forward unless you need them. And these guys that opt out, many don't need them.
Okay, so let me ask you this. If you're not a first-round draft pick, in my opinion, you need to play. And Tony and Grimes ain't first-round draft picks. They may not even be second or third. So,
I'm surprised that Tony didn't play. I'm surprised he opted out.
My question to you, though, is, JC, okay, so what is the difference then, if Florida's in the 14 playoff, these kids are playing, aren't they, or are they opting out?
I would say if they're in a 14 playoff, they're playing because that matters.
Okay, what is the difference between these kids going and playing and practicing all week in front of NFL scouts and playing in a Senior Bowl than playing in the Cotton Bowl tonight? What's the difference?
Well, I don't know. I mean, some players don't even play in the Senior Bowl. But, I mean, Joe Burrow, did he play in the Senior Bowl?
Well, no. Joe Burrow doesn't need to. Look, Trevor Lawrence doesn't need to.
Right. These guys don't need – some of these players don't feel like they need to play. These games do nothing for their resume. It only can hurt them. That's
the only person on our roster – the only person on the Florida Gator roster that can say that is Kyle Pitts. Grimes and Tony – I'm telling you right now, they're going to be lucky to be third-round draft picks.
Well, I think they're worried about injury potential, and they also are. I think they realize that on any play in any game, your professional status can vaporize. And you're talking about a third-round pick. How would you like to go free agency instead of a third-round pick? I don't think so.
I did.
So whatever round. Yes, I know, but Trayvon Grimes, by being a third-round pick, will probably get paid more money than you did. So the point is that these guys are looking at it from a marketability standpoint. They're also looking at it from a financial standpoint. They've got agents in their ears telling them things that may or may not be true. And they're 20 years old or 21 years old, whatever they are. They are going to listen to the –
And they're going to regret not playing, is my point. When they're 45 years old, they're going to regret not playing in the Cotton Bowl because you cannot get back playing college football. Pro football is a business. Nobody's going to give a damn about your pro career, really, but you're going to regret not playing with the guys you came in your freshman class, playing for your university. They're going to regret it. Trust me.
Well, they did it. They did that for 11 games? So, I mean, they played football, QB. You're making it sound like they haven't played any football.
I'm saying my point is they're not first-round draft picks, JC, and they can't become first-round draft picks.
But
so
they
why not
also
play?
Can't blow a knee out. But here's the other point, is that they can't blow a knee out by not playing. So,
JC, they can blow their knee out. They can blow their knee out when they start training with a trainer.
Maybe, but you know what I'm talking about. The point is
they can blow their knee out just as good on that artificial turf at Ladd Peebles Stadium in Mobile when they play in that game as they can in Jerry's World. So I just don't agree with it at all.
Is Kyle Pitts playing in the Senior Bowl? Is Kyle Pitts in the Senior Bowl?
Well, he's slated to go. I don't know why he would do that because he is a top 10 pick. It's a different story.
He's not. Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, and I agree. It is a different story.
Because here's my point. Here's my point, JC. How many Tonys and how many Grimes are there in college football? A ton.
A lot.
Okay. How many Kyle Pitts are there? None.
Not as many.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Well,
when you look at rosters in the NFL, everybody is six. They have a ton of dudes that look and play like Trey Grimes. They have a ton of dudes that play and look like Kadarius Toney. There ain't hardly anybody that has a dude like Kyle Pitts, and so that's just my argument.
So you're saying they should play because in 30 years, assuming they'll even remember what's going on 30 years ago, you're saying, oh, I played in the Cotton Bowl in front of 10,000 fans against
JC, the reason you don't understand
it was Oklahoma State, or was it Oklahoma? Who was it? Oklahoma.
Well, the reason you don't understand that is because you didn't play, and I'm telling you, you can ask any
why don't
former
you
player.
ask Trayvon Grimes? Hey, call Trayvon Grimes, get him on the podcast, and say, why the hell aren't you playing, Trayvon? You're a third-round draft pick.
Well, here's my point. Here's my point. You're contradicting yourself because you said that when guys play and make plays in their bowl game, they increase their status. Okay. Well, I'm sitting here telling you, I'm telling you that Trayvon Grimes and Kadarius Toney need to do everything they possibly can to increase their NFL status.
So let's say Trayvon Grimes catches 2 passes for 38 yards. No, he catches 2. Let's say he catches 1 touchdown or 2 touchdowns. That's really going to change his draft status, QB?
No, you just talked about South Carolina. That great play helped him. What if Trey Grimes catches 4 touchdown passes and he outruns half of Oklahoma's defense on a yards after the catch? My point is, those guys have no guarantee that they're getting drafted.
What if he breaks?
At a high round?
Hey, look. He can also break his ankle and not be in a combine. He can also break his knee and not play for 7 months. I mean, look, they're thinking of safety right now. That's what these kids are thinking about.
They also can get run over going to Publix.
They don't care about a game where there's no chance to win anything.
I understand. You're not listening to what I'm saying. I'm trying to tell people those guys are not as high draft picks as people think they are. Because there's a million of those guys in college football, because you're going to find a guy from Mississippi Valley State that's 6'4", 225 that runs a 4.3 that's going to get drafted ahead of Trey Grimes.
Well, now you've just devalued Kadarius Toney and Trayvon Grimes to a Mississippi Valley State athlete. That's what you just did.
No, you're not listening to what I'm saying. How many? I'm talking about when you watch the NFL draft. When you watch the NFL draft. And then they say in the second round, selected from North Dakota State, the 5'10", 175-pound slot receiver, whatever his name is, people are going to go, man, how did he get drafted ahead of Kadarius Toney? Because the NFL finds all these guys. Just because you played at a major university does not mean you're going to get drafted, is my point. And I'm just saying they're both tremendous college football players.
I don't agree with your point. I don't agree that some guy, whatever Mississippi Valley State, North Dakota State's going to be drafted ahead of Trayvon Grimes or Kadarius Toney. I don't believe that. And if they are, the teams that are drafting these guys are idiots. And that goes to the Jacksonville Jaguars. That goes to the Washington Redskins. All these teams that have drafted badly and have reflected that in their records need to remember that the guys who have played at Florida, the guys who played at Oklahoma, the guys who played at Alabama give you a better chance than some one blowout guy from wherever school. And I know DeMarcus Ware went to Troy. I get all that, but those are few and far between. Yes, they are.
As much football as you watch, I want you to look at the rosters at the wide receiver position and see where those kids play football. Okay?
All right.
I want you to pull them up. They're not all from major universities, is my point.
I know they're not. I get
the fastest dude in the NFL played small college football. Well, okay, we got to run because Dan Cross is waiting. JC, good luck on your trip. Be safe, and we'll talk to you Friday.
Friday. Okay, we'll see you then. Go Gators.
All right, that's JC. Join us on the Titan MR Hotline. We're going to take our first time out. When we come back, we are going to be joined by Dan Cross. But hang on a second. Jeff says he agrees with JC. Toney and Grimes have enough on tape for the NFL. Disagree that a college players like Toney and Grimes, Toney's a freak. Dude, I agree 100%. There's a million freaks that y'all have not seen play football. And that's why the NFL finds all these little small guys. I mean, Antonio Brown played at Western or Eastern Michigan. I mean, trust me, there's so many good players out there that y'all are going to get upset when so-and-so and so-and-so is drafted ahead of these guys. It's going to upset the Gator Nation. We're going to take our first time out. When we come back, we'll be joined by Dan Cross, Hall of Famer at the University of Florida. You're watching and listening to Pot Up with Matthews in the Morning.
Hey Gators, this is Coach Steve Spurrier. Pot Up with Matthews in the Morning. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our gridiron sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, where you matter most. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Comfort Temp, comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise. Celebration Point Town Center, Center State Bank, Chris Doring Mortgage. Some of our touchdown sponsors are Campus USA Credit Union, Adams Ribs, Doreen Wiebe Realtor, Caldwell Banker MM Parish, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Davis Gainesville Chevrolet, Miapa Latin Cafe, Rap Spot, Okido America, Gators Dockside, Radware for all your promotional needs, Style Cuts, Ironwood Golf Course, TB Financial, Meadowbrook Golf Course, Dar Shakow Insurance. If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, you can visit our website, potupwithshane.com, and click the Advertise button or call Freddie at 352-284-3733. Again, thank you for all the great businesses that support the show. Please remember, if you like what we are doing here, thank our sponsors and support the businesses that support us.
Welcome back to this Wednesday edition of Pot Up with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. We had a heated discussion with JC. I love it, but I want him to go look at the rosters of wide receivers in the National Football League, and ain't all of them from major universities, trust me. We're going to go to the Titan MR hotline now. We're joined by Hall of Famer basketball player, number 12, Dan Cross. Good morning, Dan. How are you, buddy?
Good morning, Shane. Doing well in yourself?
Can't complain. Dan, appreciate you taking time to join us today. Before we get into what you got going on this weekend in the Gainesville area, I just want to get your thoughts on, gosh, it's been a rough year, obviously, for everyone with the COVID. Basketball's had to tweak their schedule a little bit, but your thoughts on, the incident with Keontae Johnson was a scary situation, and thank the Lord he's doing well.
Yes, yeah. Very unfortunate for Keontae, his family, Gator Nation, Mike White, and Gator team. And as you mentioned before, thank God that he's alive, that he's breathing. At this point, basketball becomes is not important anymore, really, when it comes to life. And I think you and I know I've personally seen a couple guys that have not come back from, this kind of incident. Hank Gathers being one, another former player from Syracuse being another. So, I've seen this before, and it usually ends in tragedy. So I'm just very thankful that, the medics and the right people were there to help him.
Yeah, there's no question about it. And the Gators get back into action tonight at Vanderbilt. First time they've played a game since Tallahassee. Been a long layoff. How do you think this layoff? I mean, obviously, it's more like it's a season opener, wouldn't you say?
It is. I don't necessarily think that's good in any sport when you lay off for weeks at a time. And so it's a different kind of year, different kind of season, different kind of approach to the game all the way around, and wishing the Gators the best.
Yeah. Well, Dan, you have a big tournament going on in the Gainesville area. It's called the Florida Get Down Showcase.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about this Get Down Showcase.
Yeah, just very excited about the opportunity to bring high school and prep school basketball into the Gainesville area. Never been done to this level, an elite level, and so we've invited 22 teams, 22 of the top teams from the state of Florida to come into Gainesville January 1st through the 3rd. We have over 40 plus Division I recruits that will be playing throughout Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. 10 of those guys have already signed to high D1 players. I know Florida's recruiting a couple of those players as well. So just really excited about bringing basketball back into Gainesville.
And all these games are going to be played at St. Francis Catholic School here in Gainesville, correct?
Correct. I'm sorry. Yeah. So St. Francis Catholic is our host. Is the host for this event. Athletic Director David Follow and his staff have, again, welcomed me back into, their facility, their school to be the host. And we're really excited about this upcoming weekend and kind of bringing in the new year right, at least with some sports for the area.
So if people in the area enjoy watching good high school basketball, with it being COVID and all the restrictions and stuff, are y'all allowing people, just the general public to come watch?
We are, and we're following as of right now all COVID guidelines and protocol as it pertains to amateur sports and high school sports. Most of the high schools, we have 4 local high school teams: Eastside High, Santa Fe High School, The Rock, and St. Francis. And so we've just kind of followed the protocol of what the local high schools are doing with making sure fans are masked up properly, temperature checks for all coming in. And so we'll continue to follow those guidelines.
How'd you go about figuring out which teams? It was kind of an open invitation that you sent out through like the Southeast, and whoever wanted to come compete just had to sign up. How'd that all play out?
Selected, man. And this is just a selected invitation of high school teams and prep teams that I thought personally, and a small committee thought would bring attention not only to St. Francis, but to Gainesville, and most importantly to college coaches. As you and I both know, the recruiting process for Division I college coaches in basketball, football, and in any other sport has limited the amount of access to allow proper recruiting for Division I sports. And so, we've partnered with one of the top live stream and on-demand companies, in the country called SUV TV. And so they're providing the live stream from 4 different angles with commentary on live stream. And so, we're just wanting to provide, access opportunity to kids who have unfortunately been affected in high school. They don't get an extra year like college players get to, have an additional year to play the sport over again. So they have to do what's in their best interest to be exposed for higher education and athletic opportunities.
Gotcha. So let me ask you this. Now, the college coaches, I think basketball is a little bit different in recruiting. Let's take COVID out of it.
Yeah.
Because basketball coaches used to be able to go to like AAU tournaments and all this kind of stuff, correct?
Correct.
Which is crazy to me because football coaches can't go anywhere unless it's recruiting season. They can't go to 7-on-7 tournaments or anything like that.
Yeah.
Now, with it being during the season right now, let's say Mike White, for example. We play tonight at Vanderbilt. I'm not sure if we have a Saturday game or not. But would Mike White be able to show up at St. Francis in the gym there and watch some players that he may be recruiting? Is that legal?
No. As of right now, the NCAA has eliminated any access to any Division I coaches being able to travel and recruit to see players. So the only way Mike White can look at any potential recruits is through live stream and through video. That is the only way that these coaches can recruit. Now, the rules are different for Division II, Division III, NAIA, and JUCOs. They can actually come and watch the games. And so, we're expecting a lot of coaches on that level to be in attendance. But, right now, the coaches are recruiting and offering scholarships by video and video only. So, as you and I know, there's a lot of video stars out there, and it makes the job a lot difficult for recruiters having to recruit just through video and not being able to, give the eye test.
Yeah. At Chris Doring Mortgage, they do mortgage lending right, helping home buyers throughout Gainesville and North Central Florida. Call Chris Doring Mortgage today, 352-244-0840. We're speaking with Dan Cross, Hall of Famer, on the Titan MR hotline from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. We got a Facebook Live here brought to you by Meldon Law, the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. Dan asks, Dan, can you talk about Coach Kruger leaving the University of Florida? He had it going. Were you surprised that he decided to leave?
No, I wasn't surprised. There's a certain expectation that comes with the Florida that you and I both built in the 90s, and that expectation is winning. So when you come off a Final Four, when you come off, national championships at any level, that the expectation continues and needs to exceed, and that first starts with recruiting. And if you're not able to recruit the top players coming off of a Final Four, then, the mentality of Jeremy Foley and, that athletic department at the time, I wasn't surprised at all. Gotcha.
Last thing for you, Dan. With college basketball now, it's getting a little worse than football, but it's like I love college basketball. I love turning on the TV at night when I don't really have anything going on, watching different games, flipping channels. But it's just like this team. This kid, he's a transfer for Kentucky. This guy's a transfer from Indiana. This guy now transfer from South Alabama. Seems like every team is made up of 3, 4, 5 transfers.
Yes.
Do you like that? I mean, obviously everybody wants to play. And, if you have a kid, you want them to be able to go play somewhere. But are you surprised at how many guys are jumping around in college basketball?
No, I think it's a test of what the experience of NBA players having, to be traded to different teams. So it's that kind of experience that's being lended, at least for this year, to college basketball. I think it makes it a little bit different for fans to be able to follow their favorite players. It gives an opportunity for kids that may not have chosen the right school to be able to have another opportunity to choose the right school. So I, at least for this year, like the experiment of seeing, how the transfer portal is working. And, personally, I've had a few guys that on my travel teams, go to other teams, and it's worked out well.
We got one last Facebook Live brought to you by Meldon Law. Dan Bond says, is Dan talking about Vince Carter not going to Florida?
Whoever that Dan is correct. Yes. Yeah. So Vince Carter, who is a good friend of mine, once he decided that he wasn't coming to Florida, that kind of changed the trajectory of Florida basketball till Billy got here.
Yep, no doubt about it. Well, Dan, let everybody know one more time how they can check out the Florida the Get Down Showcase.
Yes, the Florida Get Down, January 1st through the 3rd. You can order tickets online at floridagetdown.org. Again, floridagetdown.org. This upcoming Friday, game starting at noon, ending at 7:30, all day Saturday, starting at 8:30 in the morning, 22 teams, games ending on Sunday, starting at 11. So we're really excited. Again, January 1st through the 3rd. Greatly appreciate the support of the community coming out and watching games. A lot of great talent.
Well, good stuff, my man. We appreciate you taking the time to join us. You be safe. Maybe we'll run into you here in Gainesville, my man.
For sure. Thanks for the support, Shane.
Yes, sir. That's Dan Cross. Join us on the Titan MR hotline. Going to take our second time out of the program. When we come back, we'll be joined by the Orlando Sentinels, Edgar Thompson. We're going to break down this Cotton Bowl. You're watching and listening to Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios.
Hey, Gators, this is Coach Steve Spurrier. Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our gridiron sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, where you matter most. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Comfort Temp, comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise. Celebration Point Town Center, Center State Bank, Chris Doring Mortgage. Some of our touchdown sponsors are Big Mills Cheesesteaks, MB Listing, Cornerstone Financial, McDonald's Gainesville, My IT Masters, Gainesville Neon and Signs, 84 Lumber, Tropical Smoothie, Chick-fil-A on Archer Road, Aver and Smith Personal Injury Attorneys, Orange Theory Fitness, PRP Regeneration Specialist, and Dowling Signs. If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, you can visit our website, potupwithshane.com, and click the advertise button or call Freddie at 352-284-3733. Again, thank you for all the great businesses that support the show. Please remember, if you like what we are doing here, thank our sponsors and support the businesses that support us.
Welcome back to Pot Up with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. Large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Celebration points where the Gators come to celebrate with premium brands like Bass Pro Shop, Palmetto Moon, Medici's, Nike, The Keys Grill and Piano Bar, opening soon Dave & Buster's, and coming spring of 2021, the HBC's new restaurant, Spurrier's Gridiron Grill and Visor's Rooftop Bar. We will see you at Celebration Point, where the Gators come to celebrate. We're now going to go to the Titan MR hotline, and we're joined by Edgar Thompson, writer for the Orlando Sentinel. Good morning, Edgar. How are you?
Hey, Shane. Doing fine, man. Hope you are.
I just got a text here. I just had a huge argument with JC about opting out, and we got a text on the Titan MR text line from Daryl. He says, I'm in total agreement with you, Shane. I think Tony and Grimes should play tonight. There are a bunch of other players out there like Grimes and Tony. Thanks, Daryl. Basically, what I was saying is, Kyle Pitts, there's no other Kyle Pitts in college football. He is what he is. He's a top 10 pick. There are a ton of Trayvon Grimes and Kadarius Tonys in college football. You may not have heard of them because they could be playing at some little small school in the MAC or somewhere, but the NFL will find those guys. And it just bothers me that they're sitting out because they're not first-round draft picks. You got any thoughts to that, Edgar?
Oh, yeah. I just looked up just to check. So you just turned 50, huh?
Yeah.
So you and I are old, man. I'm 54. We might just have a different view of things. I was wondering, because I wanted to ask you your thoughts. I mean, you played the game at the highest level. I was an athlete for years. I mean, it's why I do this. I love sports. Look, you make a commitment to the team, man. That's just my opinion is, and I know younger people I got into it with my 24-year-old buddy. He used to cover the Gators. He's a sports writer out in Arizona. We're golfing buddies. Great kid. He doesn't agree with me. He's like, Tony could blow his ACL out or yada, yada. It's like, okay, that can happen anything, any game, any practice. Mm-hmm. You made a commitment to this team, first off. And I think in Grimes' case, I mean, this is a chance for Trayvon Grimes. He had 100-yard game this year, one. Tony's had 4 in the last 5 games. He's had 5 touchdowns in the last 5 games. Tony really put some stuff on film the last 5 games. Trey Grimes was good, but, man, he could dominate tonight potentially. He'd be getting a lot of targets. Yeah. So I didn't understand his decision. Tony maybe to some degree, but I agree with you on the Kyle Pitts. And Kyle Pitts, he's been injured twice already this year. We don't know what the second one was. He had nothing else to show. He could be a top 5 pick potentially. These other guys are not first-round picks. Tony, maybe someone's like, hey, I want an exotic all-purpose kind of guy. Maybe. But Trey Grimes, man, I mean, Trey Grimes has a lot more to prove. He's a talented kid. And I think he kind of lost an opportunity tonight.
Yeah, I definitely agree. We got a Facebook Live brought to you by Melton Law. Brandon says, let that topic go. If they made the wrong decision, let them figure that out. It's not that we don't want to. This topic is what college football is now. It's a shame, and that's why the college football has got to be changed today, because none of these games – and we're talking about a Cotton Bowl, one of the New Year's 6, only one of the 6 major bowl games that means absolutely nothing tonight. Something is wrong, and that's why college football has to change. Having said that, this game tonight, Edgar, with these kids opting out and coping with COVID, you're going to have a bunch of new receivers in there. I think 34 of Kyle's 42 touchdowns are not going to be playing. Are you concerned for the Gator offense?
I tell you, I wrote a story today that if there's anybody better suited to handle this, it's Kyle Trask. I mean, look, he was an under radar kid himself, right? He came out of nowhere. Well, maybe someone comes out of nowhere tonight. You and I spoke this summer for a story on Trask, I believe, and we talked about various topics, and one of them I never really wrote about, but I actually set the quotes aside. I was trying to dig them out, was on some of these younger receivers. You made the comment that you feel like Dan's reloading at that position, and I was feeling like, man, they're going to lose so much. What are they going to do going forward, right? And you're like, no, these younger guys, you love Henderson. You thought Weston. We have not seen Jamarcus Weston at all. You like him a lot. You were really high on Whittemore. Well, we're going to see him. I mean, Jamarcus Weston can play tonight. I mean, he's a redshirt freshman. We haven't seen him, but he can play. We're gonna get a chance to see some of these kids and segueing into the spring and the off season, and maybe some fans are going to leave tonight really excited about someone they didn't think they would be.
Yeah, we got a Facebook Live here from Jeff. He says, based on Edgar's argument about team loyalty, I guess Pitts should play. But he also said that Pitts shouldn't play. I'm confused.
Well, Pitts was injured twice, and he's a top 5 pick. And yes, I'd like Kyle Pitts to play. I thought he might, just because of his bond with Trask and all those guys. But yeah, I mean, that is a bit hypocritical, sure. But I'd like to see them all play. But in his case, the injuries and stuff. But I do think you make a commitment to this team. You see it through the end of the season. I wonder what Dan Mullen's view of it is.
Well, you can read in Dan's comments how he feels about it.
What do you think?
Well, how many times have you read since, I guess, did they have media day or something yesterday with Trask? I was reading, or not Trask, but Dan's comments. Dan. And I don't have them in front of me, but it was something like, I guess people were asking him what he thought about Trask playing. And he talked about, it shows his character and his commitment to the team and, all that kind of stuff. So I was reading, I don't think Dan's happy. I mean, obviously you're sitting at 8-3, 3 losses by a total of 12 points. You had a chance to have this big year. You've had a quarterback and an offense have a historical year. And now 4 of it, I'm not going to blame Copeland. He's got COVID. The other 3 guys decide they don't want to play. But here's the trigger man being kind of left out there alone. So I think I think it bothers him because you don't want to go into the offseason with 3 straight losses. That's just a bad taste in your mouth. And it's going to be hard to beat Oklahoma. They're playing good football right now. So I personally think Dan's probably upset. I know I would be if I was a coach. I understand the kids are trying to protect their future, but my personal opinion here is those guys are 2nd and 3rd rounders at best.
Yeah, Grimes at best. You don't think Tony's a top 50, 60 guy now?
He might be, but you just have to look at, he has put great stuff on tape.
He's been unreal this year.
But you never know with these NFL guys because they don't like those small receivers, regardless of what you have done on tape. They want the big guys, and there's a ton of big guys in college football. I'm hoping for their sake they do go in the 2nd and 3rd round. But you just never know, and that's what I was arguing with JC earlier is, Edgar, there's so many wide receivers on rosters in the NFL that played at schools that aren't Power 5 schools. Just because they played at Florida doesn't mean they're going to get drafted high. You know what I'm saying? You got these small, the North Dakota states, all these little East Texases and places like that. They find them. So I hope those kids are making the right decision. I wish they would have played tonight, though.
Yeah, so Dan did say that Pitts, he signed off on Pitts pretty strongly.
I agree with that one as well.
He did sign off on Pitts, but yes, his comments on Trask loyalty, which was a quote in my story today, character and all that, not loyalty, character, if you read between the lines. And he said, I want these guys making smart decisions and things. He talks about that a lot. He was prescient 2 years ago when we asked him about guys leaving early, And he's like, yeah, I mean, if you're a surefire first round pick, and then Ja'Kai Polite dropped to 68, Chauncey Gardner to 104. There was another guy, Voshan Joseph, dropped to the 4th round. None of those guys probably should have left. Chauncey maybe because he had just had a child and he's done pretty well. What's Polite doing? What's Joseph doing? I mean, these guys, that other year, one more year of development can always help. I mean, Jawan Taylor even. I mean, he dropped from a top 10 guy mock drafts to 35. And he could have used another year with Hevesian in the program probably.
Yeah, it's a crapshoot. And you're right, though. But Coach Mullen and the coaches, they have ways of getting information from the so-called NFL people where you're slotted to go.
Sure,
and they're trying to give
Dan Mullen's phone call.
What's that?
Those guys are taking Dan Mullen's phone call.
Absolutely, they are. And Dan's job as the head coach is to do what's best, give the best information to allow that kid to make a decision. And it's not that Dan wants you to come back so he has an opportunity to win a football game. Yes, that's part of it, but he's looking at your future. And as you mentioned, he basically said, Kyle Pitts, you do not need to play in this game. Opt out. So it's going to be interesting tonight. How do you see this game going tonight, Edgar?
I do think, look, maybe I've just drank the Kool-Aid on Kyle Trask. I think the guy's a wonderful kid. I think he's a great competitor, and he uses his weapons. And look, we've had games this year. Now it does help when you have Pitts drawing some flies, you have Tony, and it opens things up for a lot of other guys. So that's going to be a question. But he knows how to distribute that football and spread it around. And Dan is a great X's and O's guys. Mm-hmm. He's going to come up with a game plan. They are going to wheel route these guys to death if that's open. Or they're going to work the middle of the field, big time with like a guy like Shorter, who's really good at those kind of like drag routes and things like that. Or whatever it is, he's going to find some fissures in that defense and work them. Now, the problem is they don't have much of a running game, so you can't set the pass up, and that's something that needs to be addressed long term. In terms of Oklahoma, I think the defense for Oklahoma is better than it's been in recent years. If this was an Oklahoma defense from 2 years ago, we'd be looking at, definitely the Gators could win this game easily because those defenses, this is a better defense for OU. And they are playing better. But look, how good's the Big 12?
Yeah.
We have no idea.
Yeah, I agree.
Played anybody else, right?
Yeah.
The Big 12 took some in the teeth earlier, didn't they? Didn't they lose to like Louisiana and had
Correct.
some like out of conference losses that were pretty bad? I mean, Iowa State lost to, Louisiana, I think. And
you're right.
So anyway, the point being, maybe the Big 12 is not any good, and the SEC prevails just because of the fact that the level is just better. You know what I'm saying?
Let's hope so. Last thing for you, Edgar.
Sure.
You think Dan makes any coaching changes after this game?
Todd Grantham, I wrote a story the other day. His future could be uncertain. You got to pay $2 million almost to get rid of Todd Grantham, and you better have a plan. It better not be one of these Auburn things where you get rid of a guy and then you're like 3 or 4 down the list to get a guy. So Dan will have to have a plan in place and know he can definitely upgrade at that if he were to do a coordinator change. But staffing, I mean, the safeties, man, have struggled for 2 straight years badly. There might have to be a change there. I don't know where else it would be, but wouldn't you think there's got to be some defensive adjustments made? I mean, the defense just had way too many breakdowns this season. I don't know that Grantham's gone. I like Todd a lot. I think he knows the league. I mean, he's proven, but this was not a good year for that side of the football.
Yep. Edgar, let everybody know where they can check your workout.
OS Gators on Twitter and OrlandoSentinel.com.
Hey, man, appreciate you checking in with us today. We've already run out of time. Time flies. Edgar, be safe, and we appreciate you joining the program.
Thanks, man. See you around.
That's Edgar Thompson. Join us on the Titan Tomorrow hotline at Comfort Temp. Comfort is our business. Peace of mind is our promise. This month, get a free annual maintenance plan with every residential duct cleaning purchase. $199 value. Our service department's available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The Comfort Temp, this Comfort 10th this day in sports. In 2008 and in 2013, Mike Shanahan was fired on this day by the Broncos and the Redskins. That's interesting. He was fired on the same day. Anyway, I want to thank JC for joining us, Dan Cross and Edgar Thompson for today's program. Tomorrow's show, we'll have Brent Beard talking college football. We'll break down the Gators and OU. We're also going to have Chris Harry from FloridaGators.com breaking down the basketball game tonight against the Vanderbilt Commodores. Today's show's a wrap, brought to you by Wrap Spot. Be safe, folks. We will see you tomorrow.